Hello, I'm Liv at Yogacrohnie, and this is an energizing yoga flow to help you to wake up the body, jump straight into your body and away from your busy mind, and we'll start moving straight away. So when you're ready, come down to the mat and we'll begin. Okay, so we're going to come straight into a posture called tabletop. So in tabletop, you want to come to your all fours and place your hands directly underneath your shoulders. So you've got a really strong pathway of weight. And taking the knees directly underneath your hips. And finding a really flat back here, so like the top of a table, reach the crown of your head forwards as your tailbone reaches back. And really spread the fingers here so that you can find the earth beneath you, finding some center here. We'll start to connect to our breath, so drawing the breath in through your nose and back out through your nose. We'll start to move through the body to warm up some of our major joints. So as you inhale, start to lift your tailbone towards the sky, drop your belly and lift your gaze. So moving through cat and cow. As you exhale, start to round through the back, draw the chin down towards the chest, really push the mat away. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the tail, lift the gaze. And exhale to round through the spine, drawing the chin down towards the chest. Really push the mat away through the tops of the feet. Inhale to lift the gaze, lift the tail, drop your belly. And exhale to round through to your cat back, really pushing the mat away. You can stay with this cat and cow, or maybe you start to make this movement a little bit more expressive. So you could start to send the seat bones towards the heels. And as you round through the back, you could start to take the weight forwards, maybe into the fingers, working into the wrists. Maybe bending the elbows and drawing your heart space back, sending the seat bones up. So finding this fluid movement within your body, don't worry too much about what the shapes look like. We're just warming up through the spine and the shoulders and the hips. Keep that equal breath going through your nose. And then from here, we'll start to walk the hands back towards the knees so that you come to sit on your heels. So the knees can be hip width apart. And from here, as you inhale, interlace your fingers behind your back. And as you inhale, start to draw the hands away and down from you. Lift your heart up towards the sky. So really draw your shoulder blades towards each other. Great stretch for the front of the body. Lovely. And then as you exhale, you can release the grip of your fingertips. We'll inhale the fingertips up to the sky to find length. And as you exhale, start to twist your chest towards the right. And you can either keep your hands wide, or you can take your left hand to the outer right thigh. Right fingertips can be stretching behind you, or if this is quite a lot for the shoulder, you can take the right hand to your lower back. But all the time, just finding that nice twist from the waist, opening up through the chest. We'll take one more round of breath here. And as you exhale, slowly turn the chest back to center. Inhale the fingertips up to the sky. And exhale to start to twist to the left. And again, the hands can be wide, or right hand can come to left thigh. Left fingertips can be reaching behind you, or they can come to the lower back. So see what feels good for you in this twist. Take one more round of breath. And as you exhale, slowly unravel back to center. We'll take one more inhale, reach the fingertips high. And as you exhale, we'll plant the hands back down to our tabletop. Great. From here, we'll tuck the toes underneath behind us. Spread your fingers, and as you push into the hands and feet, start to lift your tailbone up towards the sky. So coming to a downward facing dog here. And if your hamstrings are feeling tight, if the lower back feels tight, you can pedal through the feet, drawing one heel and then the other down towards the mat. And then start to come to stillness. So if you need to bend your knees, you can. Don't worry too much about the heels coming down towards the mat. Seeing if you can relax through the back of your neck as well. So maybe shaking the head side to side, relaxing through the shoulders. From here, we'll inhale to slowly tiptoe the feet up towards the hands. You can keep the knees bent here. Eventually coming to the top of your mat for a forward fold. So bending the knees, you can allow the top half of the body to really hang over the legs here. Really let the head go, relax through the back of the neck. And if you want to sway side to side, you can. You could take alternate elbows or gently slide the hands from right to left. Great, and then come back to center, keeping the knees bent. We'll find a half lift. So as you inhale, start to slide your hands up your shins or maybe to the thighs to find a flat back. And as you exhale, start to fold back down over the legs, planting the hands. We'll step the right foot back. And when the right tiptoes come to the back of the mat, you can drop the right knee down. And tucking the toes, finding a low lunge here. So just making sure that your front ankle is directly underneath your front knee. You can come onto the fingertips and reach your heart forwards. Reach the chest through between the shoulders. Softening the hips down towards the mat. And then from here, we'll take the weight into that right shin and left foot. Inhale to sweep the fingertips up towards the sky for your low crescent lunge. And if the hips are feeling quite tight, if that hip flexor muscle is tight, you can stay high here. Or maybe as you exhale, start to soften the hips further down towards the mat. Staying with your long breath. And then as you exhale, we'll slowly take the right hand down inside that front left foot. And as you inhale, reach the left fingertips up to the sky for an easy twist. So twisting your chest to the left. And you can stay here with the back knee down, or maybe you tuck your back toes and lift the back knee off. Your choice, this is your practice. So see how that feels. We'll take a breath here. And as you exhale, slowly take the left hand down to frame the front foot. And from here, you can slide your front foot back to the back foot to find a high plank pose. So keeping the hips level to the mat, pushing through the hands, pushing through the heels. As you exhale, bend the knees, lower the knees down to the ground, and we'll lower all the way down to the belly, hugging the elbows in. As you inhale, push into the hands and lift your chest up off the mat for a cobra. Shoulders away from the ears. As you exhale, push through your hands, rolling over your knees, tuck your toes, and send your seat bones high again for your downward facing dog. And you can pedal out here, you can sway the hips side to side. Remembering to bend the knees if the hamstrings feel tight, or if there's any tension in your lower back. Checking in with the neck, relaxing through the head. And again, on your inhale, we'll slowly start to walk the feet up towards the hands. So coming back to that forward fold at the top of the mat. Bending the knees, let the top half of your body hang over the legs. And just see if you're putting a lot of your weight in your heels, can you transition the weight a little bit further in towards the toes? So it might create a little bit more of a sensation in the back of the legs, but you can bend your knees. So just seeing if you can stack your hips over your heels, as opposed to the hips sinking back. Lovely, as you inhale, we'll rise up to that halfway lift. So find a flat back, hands can slide at the shins. And as you exhale, bend the knees, fold forwards, planting your hands. We'll step the left foot back this time. Left toes come to the bottom of the mat and drop the back knee down. And tucking the back left toes, making sure that that front ankle is underneath front knee. Reaching the heart space forward so you can come onto the fingertips here to really let the hips soften. And then from here, you can take the weight into that right foot, left shin. Start to reach your fingertips up towards the sky on your inhale. And again, checking in with that hip flexor on the left side. If you want to stay high up, you can. Or maybe as you exhale, you bend a little bit further into that front knee, softening the hips down towards the mat. So checking in all the way through the practice, just listening to your body and your breath. As you exhale, we'll take the left hand down inside that front right foot and right fingertips to the sky this time for that easy twist. So really finding the twist from your waist, turning your chest towards the right. And you can stay with the back knee down, or you can tuck the back toes and lift the back knee if that felt good the first time. Take another breath here, really reach those right fingertips to the sky. And as you exhale, we'll take that right hand down to frame the front foot. As you exhale, slowly step the right foot back to find your high plank. So keeping the hips low, squeeze the glute muscles. And as you exhale, lower the knees down to the mat to lower the chest all the way down. Hug the elbows in. As you inhale, peel the chest off for cobra. Bending through the elbows, shoulders away from ears. And as you exhale, we'll push through the hands, rolling over the knees, tuck your toes, and send your seat bones high. Back to your downward facing dog. Taking a moment here to pedal, to come back to your breath. And then from here, we'll bend the knees, look towards your hands, and as you inhale, you can walk or maybe step left and right up towards your hands. Finding that forward fold. So bending the knees, we'll take the hands to the hips, and as you inhale, start to lift up with a flat back, coming all the way up to stand. And when you come to stand, you can start to straighten the legs, take the hands down by the sides. So finding your mountain pose here, you can keep the feet hip width apart and just start to ground down through the soles of your feet. So maybe you lift all 10 toes and plant them one by one, really sensing the earth underneath you. And you can close down your eyes and maybe start to transition the weight from the heels to the toes, forwards and backwards, and maybe side to side. So really finding that point of balance in your body, finding your center. Really great. So really strong in this mountain pose. We're going to come to a chair pose from here. So a really strong pose for the legs. So slowly heel toe your feet together so that the big toes come to touch. And we're going to squeeze the inner knees and inner thighs together. And from here, when you inhale, start to bend through your knees as if you're sitting down into an invisible chair. So hands can either be on the hips or maybe out, up towards the sky. So thinking of your spine here all the way down to your tailbone, keep the tail long. So almost as if your tailbone is reaching down towards the ground. Really good, squeezing the inner thighs together, squeezing the knees together in this chair. Take one more round of breath, just feeling that heat rising through the legs, through your foundations. And then as you exhale, slowly melt the top half of your body over the legs for your forward fold. Inhale to find a halfway lift, so slide the hands up the shins to find that flat back. Exhale to bend the knees, softening down, plant the hands. And we'll step left and right straight back to your downward facing dog. Really great. So from here, we'll take the knees down to the mat. And we'll come down to a seat, so you can rock your seat bones back to one side. And from here, we're going to work with a half dragonfly posture. So you can take your knees out, take your legs out to a V. And from here, bend your right knee And we'll take the right sole of the foot to the inner left thigh. And from here, just see if you can start to ground down equally through both seat bones. If you need to sit on something to lift the hips up, you can. Otherwise, take an inhale to stack up through your spine. Find length, the crown of the head reaches tall. And as you exhale, start to hinge from your hips between that right knee and left leg. Don't worry about how far you come down. Just see if you can still flex your left foot, so draw your toes towards you. And if you're reaching really far forwards with your arms, then maybe bend your elbows and just draw them in towards the body to let the shoulders relax. Crown of the head reaches forward, so find a slight tuck to your chin. Finding length through the whole spine from the seat bones all the way up to the crown of your head. We'll take one more round of breath here. With your exhale, seeing if you can soften a little bit further from the hips. And then as you inhale, slowly start to rise back up through the spine. We'll take our right hand, reach it all the way up to the sky and round behind you. And as the right hand comes down to the ground, we'll push into that right hand, start to lift your hips and roll onto your right shin. So the hips are reaching up towards the sky, the left hand can come all the way up towards the sky. So just finding some length to the whole left side of your body here. Take a breath here. And as you exhale, slowly melt back down the way you came, so hips softening down towards the mat. We'll take it straight to the other side, so take a moment to draw this right knee back up, planting the foot. And then you can straighten the right leg out. Bending the left knee, taking the left sole of the foot to the inner right thigh to find your half dragonfly. So take a moment to find both seat bones connecting to the ground, flexing those right toes towards you. As you inhale, grow tall through the spine, crown of the head reaches high. And as you exhale, start to hinge from your hips. So again, the hands can come down to the mat or the floor. And drawing the elbows in towards the body so the shoulders can completely relax down. So connecting this longer hold to your breath. With every inhale, see if you can lengthen a little further through the spine. And with every exhale, just seeing if you can soften a tiny bit more from the hips. So hinging a little bit further forwards. Tiny micro movements. Allowing gravity to draw you further over the legs. Take one more round of breath. And then use your inhale to slowly draw yourself back up, stacking the spine. And then left hand comes all the way up to the sky and round behind you. Plant that left hand down, and as you inhale, start to push into the left hand, push into the left shin, and lift your hips, lift your heart up towards the sky. So nice big full body stretch here down the right side, reaching those right fingertips up and overhead. And as you exhale, slowly come back down the way you came, melting the seat bones down towards the mat. Really great. From here, you can draw that left knee back up and plant the left foot. You can plant the right foot as well, and just gently take your hands behind you and windscreen wipe the knees left to right just to ease off any tension. And we're going to come down to our backs. So when you're ready, you can stretch the legs out in front of you. And two options here for coming down. If you want to come straight down, you can roll down. Or if you want to use your core, your abdomen, you can reach your fingertips forwards, plant the feet onto the mat, and using your whole exhale, start to roll down through the spine. So seeing if you can roll down through one vertebrae at a time, trying not to drop at the last moment. So really engaging through the core, drawing the belly button back towards the spine. And eventually, when you come all the way down, you can melt the shoulders down into the mat. We'll take the hands wide, so either bending at the elbows for cactus arms, the palms reach up towards the sky, or maybe you take them wide for a big wide T. But wherever you are, start to draw your feet towards your seat bones. And then you can either keep your feet grounded, or you can stack your knees over your hips. So 2 options here. And wherever you are, as you exhale, start to let your knees roll out towards the right side of you. And don't worry too much about where they land, but just see if you can draw your left shoulder back and down into the mat. So you're finding the twist from your waist. Supine twists are really detoxifying postures. So they wring out tension through the body and they're really cleansing. Massaging your internal organs with every breath. As you inhale, finding length through the torso. And as you exhale, the belly draws back and down to create more room for twist. So see if you can relax through your shoulders, relax through the back of the head. We'll take one more round of breath here. And then as you inhale, start to draw your knees back up to center. So whether you've got your feet on the mat or if you've got your knees stacked over your hips, it's the same principle. Let your lower back melt into the mat here. Take a breath. And then as you exhale, slowly let the knees roll over to the left side this time. And again, not worrying too much about where those knees land, but just seeing if you can draw your right shoulder back and down. So really softening through the top half of the body as you find that cleansing twist from the waist. Just allowing a few breaths here to wring out any tension in the body. Starting to slow the breath right down. Take one last round of breath where you are in this twist. And then as you inhale, slowly draw the knees back up to center. And before we come down to our final relaxation, you can hug the knees up to the chest. You can rock side to side throughout the lower back. And when you're ready, you can come down to a comfortable lying position. So you can either keep the soles of the feet on the mat and let the knees gently roll in towards each other. This is a nice way to relax the lower back. Or you could take the traditional Shavasana. So reaching your legs, your feet out to the bottom of the mat. Hands come down by the sides. But allow the palms to face up so that the shoulders can completely relax down into the mat. Feet relaxed, toes rolling out to the side. And you can close down your eyes here or just soften your gaze. And just allow yourself to come back to your natural breath. So not controlling the breath in any way. Just allowing your natural rhythm to come back to your body. And giving yourself these last few moments of your practice to rest and to acknowledge anything that arises in the body or the mind. And if your mind is really busy at this point in your practice, then don't worry. Just acknowledge if your mind draws away to a thought. And just see if you can gently draw it back with your breath. So keeping your awareness on your breath and your body through these last few moments, being completely present in this practice. And releasing any need to control, just allowing what arises to arise. Let your thoughts come and let them go. As you completely melt down into the mat where you are, we'll take one round of a clearing breath just to release any last tension in the body. So when you're ready, take a big inhale in through your nose. And on your exhale, let it all out through the mouth. Completely letting go. Allow yourself to melt down, feeling completely held by your mat, by the earth. And when you're ready, you can gently draw some movement back to your body. You could wiggle your fingers and toes, or maybe circle the wrists and ankles. And from here, you can bend your left and right knee, hugging them up to the chest. When you're ready, you can roll over to either side of you and take a moment there to pause. And in your own time, you can gently push yourself back up to a comfortable seat. Take your time, there's absolutely no rush. And if you can keep your eyes closed or your gaze heavy, then find this cross-legged seat and just let your hands fall to your knees wherever they come. We'll just take a few moments of gratitude for your practice, gratitude for yourself for coming to your mat and moving and connecting to your body and breath. And acknowledging anything that arised through your practice, anything that came up emotionally or physically or maybe spiritually. And we'll seal the practice down. So as you inhale, start to draw your fingertips up to the sky, take the palms to touch. And as you exhale, we'll draw the hands down to the forehead for kind thoughts, hovering them over the lips for kind words, and finishing at your heart space for kind actions. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Namaste.